Good morning. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Today is Wednesday. It is our baking day, and so I'm finally going to make our bread. It's been a long time since I've made our homemade bread, and then I just got my shipment last month with all of our flours and stuff to use. So today I thought, you know what, I just need to make bread. So that is what I'm doing. We have a busy day today. It's been a busy week. Things going on. We did the weekend. Last week we got our new puppy, and then the weekend was busy with things going on, and we had winter jam that the children and I went to, and that was really fun. Monday was exhaustion day and tired, and Tuesday was just trying to catch up day. I'm glad it was my day not to really have to do anything specifically, because that was a good day to kind of chill. So today is Wednesday, and so it is, we have to do school, get our life all done, and then head to the park. It's going to be like 70 degrees today, so we're so excited. And then tonight, our church is putting on a Easter family event night, so we are going to head to that, have a couple older ones that are going to volunteer and help, and then the rest of them will enjoy the events. And then we're going to take some friends with us as well, so it's going to be a busy day. So I thought I need to make bread, so I thought I'd get up. I was working on my laptop for a while, getting some work done, and I thought, okay, now I will come to the kitchen and I will start making the bread. So this is, I called it on my blog a long time ago, Ezekiel bread. I don't even know, I don't even know where I found this recipe, like years ago, like at least 10, 15 years ago. And then I'm like, no, that's not Ezekiel bread. And so I had to rename it. It's just a honey whole wheat bread, but we really enjoy it. We like the white wheat flour because I know white flour is not great for you. And then, but we don't really, the wheat flour bread is just real heavy. And so we don't particularly care for that. I like that, but my family doesn't. And so I came across the white wheat flour, and that is our absolute favorite because it has the texture of the white bread, but with the healthiness of the wheat. So this is how we make it. So that's why I was going to put up a little thing here so you can watch what we do. All my recipes are over at my blog at plainandnotsoplain.com. So what you do, you take 5 cups of warm water, and I just put it in my big bowl here, and I put in 3 packages of yeast. And so I use mine. I got my little notes here for everything I'm baking today. I keep mine in a glass jar in the refrigerator. I get this at Sam's Club in the big containers, and then just keep in the refrigerator to be cold. And so I will put this in here, and then I will take, here's our coconut oil. I take and make 3/4 of a cup of that. So I just pour that in with this. No, I'm sorry, not 3/4, 2/3. 2/3 is the wrong number. And then you're supposed to add 2/3 cup of honey. And so what I do is after you take out your oil, because honey sticks to the measuring cup, that's a good time to do your honey inside of here, because that way it won't stick and it pours out so much easier. So that's almost the whole container of my honey. And then you pour it in, it just pours out much nicer. You don't have to worry about scraping off, it gets in there real good. So then you add your honey in there. So I've added the yeast with the warm water, let it kind of get bubbled, just a little bit of bubble you saw. And then the honey, oil, and in the beginning I added a 1/2 cup of sugar as well to this. So your 5 cups of warm water, 3 packages of yeast, and a 1/2 cup of sugar. Mix that up and it'll get kind of foamy like that. And then add 2/3 cup of honey and 2/3 cup of oil. And then I'm just gonna whisk this real gentle to mix that up. And that's nice and mixed. Okay, then it's going to be time to add your flour ingredients. And so we're going to be adding 2 teaspoons of salt to this, 1 cup of wheat germ, and 4 cups of flour. Okay, after I added my 4 cups of flour, 1 cup of wheat germ, and then 2 teaspoons of salt, all you do is whisk it up. And mix it real good. If you make everything in the bowl, you don't have any mess on your counter. So I just choose to do everything in here. You could do this in a mixer as well. I never had a big giant one until now, so I've just learned how to do it in a bowl. And to me, it's quick and simple. I'm sure it's easy just to put it in a mixer and throw it all together as well, but this is what I find is very easy for me to do. It only takes a few minutes. So you just mix real good here. All those wet ingredients and the dry ingredients mix. Activating that yeast. And that looks good right there. Now you're going to start adding flour, 6 to 8 cups of flour, depending on how much it's going to take here. 1, 2, never add all your flour at one time. It'll just make it way too hard to stir. So I'm going to do 3 like that, and then I'm going to keep using my whisk, mixing it up. And as you see, it's getting thicker. You're not going to be able to use your whisk forever, but it just helps mix it. I just keep turning my bowl. So now I'm going to get this. Now I won't be using the whisker anymore because it's going to be too thick. So now I'm going to add some more flour, and this is when you're going to start stirring it and kneading it. So I just had 2 more cups. I'm going to take my sleeves up here, take my wooden spoon, and just keep going like this. Just mixing that flour in. If you add too much at once, it will get real hard. Mix in the dough properly, and then you wonder why you have this dry bread. So this is what I do. I just keep stirring and turning. So it doesn't take very long at all to make some good homemade bread. And if you're just starting out and you want to try it, just do regular white flour. That'll be fine until you get this all down pat. Put your flour on the edge of the pan, and then when you kind of, I'm gonna go this way, go like this. As your hands get sticky, like right there's a lot of wetness, add some more flour. And just keep twisting it in. And this will start kneading and folding the bread dough over. The hand shouldn't get super sticky. Mine right here. Clean those off if they are. Less flour, the better. You can do everything right in your bowl here. It's a little sticky there. Do everything. Just kind of pound it down, flip it over. And this is stretching that. Oops. This is stretching that gluten and getting it a little bit more. You do this for about 5 minutes, and then you let it rest. And then you leave it all in here. You don't have to worry about cleaning and using this. Well, I usually put a towel over it and let it rest that way. Okay, so the other thing, now that our bread is sitting and it's gonna puff up and rise here, and I'll show you that when it's ready, I'm gonna mix up some pumpkin muffins. We have always made chocolate chip pumpkin muffins, and so this is just one of my children's favorite things. We used to do on my blog at plain.com. You can see where I've done like a big amount of it, and then I scroll to the bottom, it'll show a smaller amount. Today I'm doing like 4 times the smaller amount of it, just because then I can have some and I can freeze it. So in my mixing bowl, in here I've added a dozen eggs, and I've added, but let me give you the small version of it. It's first regular size serving one is 3 eggs, 3/4 cup of oil, and I use coconut oil, 2 cups of sugar, and 2 cups of canned pumpkin, which is a smaller canned pumpkin can. So that's what's in here, but I times it times 4, so I used a dozen eggs, 4 cans of pumpkin, 8 cups of sugar, and then 3 cups of oil. For this, I was gonna put it in my mixer, but it's too much of a batch, so I'm gonna just use a regular hand mixer. And then you're gonna add your dry ingredients. For a small batch, you would just add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. But since I'm doing a quadruple times 4 batch, I'm gonna do 4 of those, 4 cinnamon, and then it's 1 teaspoon, a half a teaspoon of nutmeg. So I'm gonna need 2 total teaspoons because I have a bigger batch. And then the salt. Normally it's just 1 teaspoon, but since I'm doing times 4, I'll be adding 4 tonight. And then the baking powder. I need 2 teaspoons for a small batch, but I'm going to be doing times 4. This is my 3rd one, and for my 4th one. And then I'm going to add baking soda, and it's 1.5 teaspoons for a smaller batch. But since I am doing a big one, I'll count my bowls first. 3, 4, 2, and then I'm gonna, normally it's 2.5 cups of flour. I use my white whole wheat flour, but I'm going to be doing times 4, so I'll be adding. 5. I'd recommend when you have a big batch of something, don't add all of your flour because it'll be too impossible to mix it all properly. So I just do half of it for now. spray our pans. And I use a cookie scooper. And we fill our things about 1 block full, I say. Every time my kids. Okay, so it's important to preheat your oven and wait for it to wait at the amount it's supposed to be at. And we put ours at 350 normally, but since we live up in the mountains and with a gas oven, it cooks hotter, I think. And so we do about 340 and nothing burns. And so we're gonna get these in the oven, and then I will wait until the dough is almost, or the batter is almost gone, and then I'm gonna start on my apple muffins. So I have mixed everything up. It's been about 1 hour and 20 minutes that I've been in the kitchen. I got my bread is rising, I'll show you. This is in here, and you can see it kind of puffing up a little bit on the thing. So what I do is I open it up, looks like that, and then all I do is punch it down. It's a good punch down because I'm not ready to put it in the oven right now because I have so much in there. So I just punch it down like that. You can do that a few times, and then I'll just put the towel back on. And then the pumpkin muffins are here. Over there, you can see I got my first batch out, and then I got the second one in the oven. This was apple muffins. We have some caramel. Let me see. We got some caramel frosting from Pillsbury, and it is so delicious. I got this at a discount store, and it's so good. So we make caramel muffins, caramel cupcakes. Caramel apple cupcakes. And so we had some diced apples in the freezer, frozen, that I got a couple months ago and chopped them up. They were just red, delicious apples, and I chopped them up and froze them. And then I think I've got 4 quart bags in there. And so I used 2 of them in here, made a double batch of that. This recipe is over on my blog at plainandnotsoplain.com. And then we also mixed up some, this is a gluten-free cornbread. Somebody gave me some gluten-free mixes. And so I think it looks like it's from Aldi's. And so it's just gluten-free cornbread. So I'll throw it in and try it. This is going to be lunch. I got pizza, burritos, and then in the oven is the next batch of muffins, and then I mixed up some brownies. So that's what we're gonna do for our desserts. For doing pies, I just thought brownies cut up, so I'm gonna make it today and put them in a plastic container. And it's today's Wednesday, Thursday. It'll be okay, just in a closed container. And then we'll have it with ice cream and the toppings. I think that'll be just a different treat, 'cause it's gonna be nice weather. And then also something I do on baking day is I make a list. Like I had my main list here of what I was gonna do today. And this is my pumpkin muffins, my bread, apple, cupcakes and brownies. Well, then what I did is I went on my blog and I got my recipes and I put them on little cards. And so I wrote out the bread recipe, I wrote up the apple cupcake recipe, the pumpkin muffin one, so I knew what it was. And then that way, if the girls come up and they're done with their school, I can say, here, why don't you mix up the brownies? And then I give them this, and then they can mix up the brownies. Brownies was a box, so I didn't have to write the recipe out. And then when I'm done, we just throw this away. Just another way to stay organized when you have a lot to make. And then that way I can say, okay, here, Brooklyn, why don't you mix up the apple cupcakes? And then she'll take that recipe and then she'll move and she'll mix that up. Or, here, Jane, why don't you do the pumpkin muffins? And so that way it just keeps a little bit more organized. And then I can also look at what am I making and then just take the paper and throw it in the trash. So I am finished with all of it. The girls didn't have to help because we are on puppy duty still with our puppy. So we're taking turns staying up with her during the night a little bit, just making sure she can go potty. And then, so some slept in. We're just a little slow moving, some of them, but I got up and did my stuff. And so now all the baking will be done. I'm just waiting on the oven. And then now we can start our school. I'll get lunch rolling here, and then we'll finish that up. And it looks like a beautiful day today. It's going to be 70, and the sun is out. It's feeling warm. I got my window open over here, and we are going to get outside. So that's going to be, we're going to keep moving. I'll take some more videos. Okay, so now we just got our bread done. I got Autumn doing it. This is our bread, what it looks like. So you're going to punch it down again. Look at that, nice and fluffy bread. And then I'm going to be kneading it in there. It looks really good, nice and spongy bread. So what I do is I've got my bread pans here. These are stainless steel ones. I invested in these and bought them a long time ago, and then you will have them forever. So it's always good to invest in good kitchen products, something that you're going to have forever. These are stainless steel, so they will never rust. Nothing will happen to them. I'm going to spray them. And I've got 6 here. So my bread dough, I'm going to take this and divide it into 6 pieces. So basically I go in the middle like this, and that will give me 2. And then I'm going to go here, 1, there, 1, just like that. So then you can kind of know what to grab when you're making it. So you take your little piece out, pinch it up, and there's your first bread dough. So here's my first one. I'm going to take it and kind of do a little bit of a kneading here. It looks like you just form it into a bread loaf, just like that. That's it. Put it in your bread pan. Get to my second one here. If it was real sticky, I would be putting some flour on my countertop here, but it's not too bad at all. It's not even sticking. So, and I'm going to form it into another pan right there and put that in here. And then this one, stick in my hands a little bit, and you just kind of knead it around here. And you're working your dough in. You're like pushing everything to the inside is what you're focusing on doing. So that's nice and uniform. There's another one. This is a little sticky on the inside, so I'm rolling the inside sticky part in. Like that. Put that one in here. And then I probably could do 8 loaves with this, but I've only got 6 bread pans. Got a couple extra, but these will be good. They'll just be bigger loaves of bread. So there's that one. And the last one. And all your mess is just in that bowl, which is really nice. There's that. Let's stick it in here. That's going to be a big one, actually. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take it. This one is a little bit bigger. I'm going to pinch some of this off because I realize that's a pretty big one. I'm going to kind of knead this. And then I'm going to put, this one's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to take this and just knead it into that piece. There's that. You can look at my breads here. This one's a little bit, let's see. And then what you do is take a fork and you just poke in the top of this so that releases all the air bubbles that will form inside your bread when it's rising. So for myself now, I'll just leave this right here because it's pretty warm in here. If it was a little bit chilly in here, I'd probably put it in the oven on my bread dough setting, but since I've got things baking still, I'm just going to leave it on the counter, and then I'm just going to cover it with my, oops, that's not the one, with my tea tree, I keep calling it tea towel, and stick it on top here. Just like that, and then it'll rise up. When it gets just about where it's just touching the top of the pan, then I'll be sticking it in the oven at 350, and I'll set my timer for 30 minutes and bake it, and it'll be delicious. Okay. Our bread is all finished rising. It's just puffed up, so it looks just like that. So now I'm going to put it in the oven on the top, not on the top rack, like the middle rack, and set my timer for 30. I'm going to probably do 35 minutes to make sure. Actually, no, 30 minutes to make sure it cooks well. I finished all of my baking. It is now like 1:15, and I'm done for the day, and I got a lot done. I had to do it in between school and getting stuff ready for today, but it's all finished. We did it, and I'm glad. My bread just came out of the oven. So here it is. It looks delicious. Usually I recommend leaving it up like this, and then I'll probably turn it on its side if it doesn't pop out. If you grease your pans really well, it'll just come right out directly. So just wait. I've learned, like with muffins and cakes, if you just let them cool, they will come out of the pan all by themselves. I have done way too many times where I've tried to peel them out because I'm in a hurry, and then I realize it just rips the muffin or the cake out. So just wait till it cools, because it's going to shrink back in because it's all expanded because it just got heated. And then it's going to shrink back and it's going to pop right out. So if you greased it, I mean, if you didn't do any greasing, it probably will stick. So I've got some rice over here cooking for dinner. And in the oven, I've got some nacho cheese, refried beans, and taco meat. And that is going to be for haystacks tonight. We have stuff at our church tonight. And they're giving away Chick-fil-A. So I probably won't need any dinner, but I think I'm going to feed the kids something small. So we're going to do the haystacks just to get something in their belly, and then we will go to church, and then they're going to have Chick-fil-A sandwiches for their Easter fun. So this is all I got with their baking. This is everything here. If you can see it all what I've got, I did the caramel apple cupcakes. So there's 2 here. I'll put lids on these. I'll probably put them in, I might freeze one. You can freeze one when it thaws. It's a little wet on top, but my kids don't care. So I will put the other one in the refrigerator. I got a plate here that we eat up now. And then these are all the pumpkin muffins. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dozen, 6 dozen, about 7 dozen chocolate chip pumpkin muffins. I will freeze the bags, and then we'll be having those for the next few weeks. And this one I'll keep in the refrigerator to eat, and this I'll leave out. What I do is the ones that stick, like this one I was in a hurry to pull out of the pan because I couldn't wait, I was impatient. And so those I'll just leave out, just like a free-for-all grab, and people will just grab those. So that will work. I did my brownies here. These are for Easter. I just cut them. The ones on the bottom look better because these are more the end pieces. But that's that. I'm going to put a lid on those and put them away. And then I made the cornbread over here, the gluten-free cornbread. So that, we'll try it. We'll see if it's good. If not, it's just something free. So that's it. Like last week we did our, I don't know if you had the video. The video will be up. Last week we did the energy bites, and that stuff I made double or a quadruple, I think, of that recipe. And then I froze them. I still have 3 big bags of that still in the freezer. So these pumpkin muffins will last us for a few weeks for sure. I just like to do baking towards the end of the month, so it kind of stretches. Like the groceries are kind of, I mean, I still have a lot of food, mind you, but at the end of the month, you're out of all those new things. So these are just something to help stretch the meals for our family. So, okay, so this is our baking, our large family baking day. We are going to, I had to go change because I was sweating and hot. It's getting warm, which is good. We are going to, I have to wrap up a gift here that I have to mail it for my daughter's birthday tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm behind, I know. And then we are going to go to our park and go get some exercise and run around a little bit with the kids because it's so nice out. And then we're going to come home, have some dinner, and get ready for church tonight and enjoy our night tonight. So this is our large family baking day with some homemade bread. And, oh, actually, let me tell you, the bread. Let me tell you about the bread. The bread, when you pull it out of the pans, you can take it and put it in plastic freezer bags. So that's what I will end up doing. If you didn't have plastic freezer bag, just put it in a closed plastic container, and that will make it stay fresh. You can freeze these if you want. More than likely, our family will eat all these up in the next few days. And so I will, I know you can wrap them in plastic wraps another way, but that would use a lot of plastic wrap. If you just put them in freezer bags and seal them, they'll stay nice and moist. You can just leave them on the counter. If you want, you can freeze them. I usually leave them on the counter for a few days, and if I don't end up, like today's Wednesday, if we don't eat them by like Saturday, I'll probably put them in the refrigerator just so they wouldn't mold or get yucky. So, or if we didn't use them by Sunday for some reason, I would put them in the freezer and just use them, pull them out and thaw them when we needed it. So those are the good breads. This is a great recipe over at my blog at plainandnotsoplain.com, and you can see how we made it with the step-by-step photos over there as well. And we've been making this forever and ever, so we know it tastes good. So, okay, hope you enjoyed this, and we will be seeing you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.